Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another week of NRL Tipping. So we are now in round 20. Starting off this week, we have the Broncos at home to the Bulldogs. I'm going to be tipping the Broncos here. Um, Quite simply, basically just because they're the better team. I think that the Bulldogs could trouble them, maybe for about 40, 50 minutes or so, but then if the Broncos aren't already winning, they'll definitely be pulling away by then. As we know, had a bit of trouble last week with the Knights, rested a couple of their stars, so they'll want to, put in a good performance, especially now leading into the finals. So I'll be saying, yeah, the Broncos, and the Broncos by 14. Second game of the round, we have the Roosters at home to the Knights. Basically just the Roosters. It wouldn't surprise me if they put a number on the Knights, but I'll be saying the Roosters by 18. Second Friday night game of the round, we have the Sharks at home to the Rabbitohs. For me, the Rabbitohs and the Bulldogs are basically pretty even on the table. What I mean by that is basically the squads and the way they performed this year, should I say, has basically been pretty even. Of course, Adam Reynolds out for the Rabbits, so if there was any chance of a Rabbits victory, you'd expect Reynolds to be part of it. But yeah, I'll be tipping the Sharks here, leading into the finals. Sharks at home, Sharks by 18. First game for Super Saturday and potentially the game of the round, we have the Panthers at home to the Titans. As we know, the Panthers put in a good performance against the Warriors last week. Titans even a better performance at home in those awful conditions against the Sharks. Um, this game, it's quite tricky to pick for me, but I'm going to go for the Titans. I know I keep saying it, but I do think they will make the 8 this year. I don't think the Panthers are all that great. The winner of this game obviously takes a huge step towards the finals. I'll be saying the Titans. It wouldn't surprise me, sorry, if this game goes to Golden Point. I'll be saying the Titans by 4. Second game for Super Saturday, we have the Raiders at home to the Storm. If I remember correctly, the Raiders are actually the Storm's bogey team. They're having a bit of trouble with them in previous years. But you'd imagine that the Storm would get over the line here. You never really want to get bet against the Storm. Raiders were a bit scrappy last week, managed to get the win though. But Storm with the week off, the spine fresh after an Origin victory, fully focused now on the NRL season. I'll be saying the Storm. Could be close, but I'm going to say the Storm by 10. Final game for Super Saturday, we have the Cowboys at home to the Warriors. And quite simply, I mean, the Warriors season is over, especially now with Johnson out. For me, the Warriors season, looking back, was basically over when we got run down after leading the Panthers 28-0. I mean, for me, after that game, it's like, wow, what's happening? But if the Warriors couldn't win last week at home in Manu Vatuvei's final game, there's, you know, then the next to no chance this week, especially in a place, travelling to Townsville, in a place where they traditionally haven't won. Without Johnson, I mean, load up on the Cowboys by 20. First game for Sunday, we have the Dragons at home to Manly. This is another somewhat tricky game, but Dragons for me just aren't that great. Manly are near the top of the table, put in a bit of a scrappy performance last week, but obviously they got the win. I'd expect them to put in a more committed performance this week. The Dragons will be up for this one, but I'm going to say Manly, and I'll be saying Manly by 10. Final game of the round, we have the Tigers versus the Eels. Of course, Moses against his old team. I'm sure the Tigers players will definitely want to be getting a win here, but I'm going to go for the Eels. I think this game could be a high-scoring game, but be a high-scoring game, but I think it'll also be a close game. Wouldn't surprise me if the Tigers do win. I mean, as I just said, Woods, Tedesco, they want to put in a big performance against Moses. Tigers are at home, put in a somewhat decent performance last week against Manly. However, obviously the second to last on the table, obviously for a reason. I'll be saying the Eels here. Eels by 4. As usual, guys, thanks for watching or listening to the video. Let me know how you got on last week and what your tips are for this week. See ya.